Have you ever really stopped and wondered what it's like to be another creature? To not see the world through our eyes, but through a mind that's built in a completely different way. Well, today, we're going to dive deep into the nature of consciousness itself by meeting some of the most incredible minds on the planet. So, our journey starts right here, on solid ground. What are we actually seeing here? When a mind that holds so much strength and memory comes face to face with art, when this elephant reaches out, is that just simple curiosity? Or is it something more, something deeper? What does it actually mean to see another being's world? And now, let's just plunge from that bright, solid world into this one. An entire universe of sound, of pressure, of strange communication. If the elephant's reality is built on touch and sight, this world is built from echoes. So the real question is, how do we even begin to wrap our heads around realities so completely alien to our own? Okay, so let's start with a mind we think we can kind of recognize. One that might even see a version of itself. We're looking for that sense of I, a sense of self in an animal. But what's funny is that search always forces us to take a hard look at ourselves first. And this quote, this really gets to the heart of the problem. For decades, we've been testing animal intelligence on our terms. We ask them to solve problems the way a human would. But what if we've been asking all the wrong questions? What if our methods were the real problem all along? Let me give you a perfect example, the stick test for elephants. For years, scientists figured elephants couldn't use tools because, well, they wouldn't use a stick to get food. But they were missing something so obvious. An elephant's trunk is also its nose. Picking up a stick blocks its main way of sensing the world. But the moment they were given a different tool, a box they could kick into place, boom, suddenly this incredibly intelligent problem-solving mind was there for everyone to see. It's the exact same story with the famous mirror test. At first, they used this tiny little mirror outside the cage. I mean, what's a 4-ton animal supposed to do with that? But then they put a massive 8-foot square mirror inside the enclosure, and everything changed. An elephant named Happy could finally get right up to it, check it out, and make the connection that the reflection was her. She passed a test once thought to be only for great apes and us. So you see, self-awareness isn't just some checkbox that makes an animal like us. It's more like a window. It's proof that there's a subjective self in there, a specific point of view, an I that's experiencing the world. Okay, so we've looked at a world of sight. Now let's go to a world where that I is defined by sound. All right, we're leaving the visual world far behind. We're diving deep into a totally different sensory reality. This is a place where your identity, your friends, even the way you hunt, it's all built out of sound and vibration. Welcome to the ocean. So think about it. How do you find your friend in a huge, dark ocean? For a dolphin, it's not about seeing a face. It's about hearing a song. Each dolphin creates its own signature whistle. It's basically their own personal theme song. It's their name. They call it out to say, I'm here, and get this, they can even copy another dolphin's whistle to call them over. And just how strong is that identity? It's incredible. Studies have shown dolphins can remember the signature whistles of buddies they haven't seen in 20 years. 20! Can you imagine hearing a friend's personal song after 2 decades and knowing instantly who it is? That's the power of their acoustic world. And to really get this world, you have to try and imagine a sense we just don't have. This quote here nails it. For so many animals down there, the line between touch and hearing just dissolves. Their entire body is one giant ear, feeling the tiniest vibrations in the water, feeling the ghost of a predator that swam by minutes ago. And living in this world of sound allows for some seriously sophisticated teamwork. You've got bats sorting through a storm of sounds to find their own echo, humpback whales create perfectly timed bubble nets to trap fish, orcas swim in perfect formation to create a wave to wash a seal off an ice floe. This isn't just random noise. It's a shared reality, navigated and built entirely through sound. Okay, so we've seen a mind that can see itself in a mirror and minds that live in an ocean of sound. But now we're going somewhere truly strange. So strange it makes you question what it even means to be a single self at all. First off, let's just talk about raw complexity here. An octopus has around 500 million neurons. That is 5 times more than a rat, putting it right up there with some mammals. But here's the really wild part. It's not just how many neurons it has, it's where they are. Just look at this breakdown. Nearly 2/3 of an octopus's neurons aren't in its brain. They're in its arms.
So this is not a central command center with a bunch of long tentacles. No way. This is a completely different blueprint for building a mind.
This is what they call its distributed intelligence, the 1+8 system. Yeah, there's a central brain, but each of the 8 arms acts like its own little mini brain. An arm can touch something, taste it, and decide what to do with it, all on its own, without having to check in with the central office. We're talking about a body where the limbs literally have minds of their own.
Which just leads to this massive mind-bending question. If you have a creature with 9 minds, where is the I? Where does the self even live? Is the central brain the boss? Is it a team effort? Or is it something so profoundly different we can't even begin to imagine it?
Wow, okay. So we've been on quite a journey, from the self-aware elephant to the acoustic whale to the 9-brained octopus. So let's zoom out. What does all this tell us about the idea of a mind itself, and where it all came from? Well, the big idea that ties all this together is called gradualism, and it basically throws out the old notion that consciousness was like a light switch that just flipped on one day with humans. Instead, think of it more like a dimmer switch that's been slowly turning up over billions of years, creating all these countless incredible forms of experience. And what that really means is that consciousness isn't some kind of magic dust sprinkled on top of life. Minds are biology. They are what happens when plain old matter, the stuff of nature, gets more and more organized, more and more complex, over huge stretches of evolutionary time. Which kind of brings us right back to where we started. Meeting these other minds, it's not about finding a simpler, fuzzier version of ourselves. It's about the profound, really humbling chance to get a peek into a completely different reality. A whole other valid way of being. And maybe, just maybe, the more we try to understand their worlds, the better we'll end up understanding our own.